This is your weekend market review for Friday, August 16th, 2024. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your weekend market review for Friday, August 16th, 2024. Hopefully you're having a great week, a great day, being safe. I haven't seen an options expiration with 5 green days, and I can't even remember, honestly. Very impressive move. Coming off the lows, as we talked about, we expected some bounces. This strong, can't say I thought this was happening. Again, in a probability-based game, you will be wrong. It's never easy. Again, if you look at the actual Stock Traders Almanac, yeah, some bullishness going into options expiration, but after that, the last 10 days, yeah, we'll see what happens here. Expecting some more, chop/weakness potential with the risk reward now in favor for the bears. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. This is why you define your risk. You define your risk in having stops, and sometimes you're just wrong. I'd love to say that, find someone who's never wrong, but that's the thing. In a probability-based game, you can lose. You can have pocket aces and still lose the hand. So going into next week, we don't have a ton of economic information. We got some retailers having some earnings, mostly the quiet season going into the end of the month. We'll see what happens here. Again, Japan issues, ceasefire rumors, all sorts of stuff. I mean, the geopolitical risk, and then you have Harris talking about just spending more and more money. It's almost like mind-boggling how this really is going to play out. I mean, the recession is growing. I mean, you even saw it with the Atlanta Fed. They downgraded their GDP estimate by a full point 2 days later. And it's the thing, again, you can see it within the data. I showed you guys, if you're following the channel, the housing data. It's not good. So again, if you want to follow, this is the thing. The market isn't always the economy, and the economy is always the market. So do yourself a favor. Always stick to your disciplines. New to the channel, check out the Discord room, link description below. Again, talked about some of the stuff. Like, it's pretty wild within the housing market. I mean, here you go, the GDP. Oh, how much does it cost to live in some of these cities? Where was some of these posts on some of the housing stuff? Yeah, revise. Yep, I apologize. It's in the Discord room. But yeah, the housing data. Inventory. Up. Sales, slow. If you want to check, speaking of real estate, love to help you out. I will take it personally. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate and you do not hit me up and you've been following this channel, you're one of the 2,103 followers on YouTube or one of the other thousands of followers, please reach out. Let me know how I can help you. Because again, if you're just talking to someone who doesn't really understand the real estate market, or maybe they're a real estate professional and you want more opinions, you want thoughts, ideas, you want to bounce it off so you can negotiate leverage. Potentially you're thinking of selling and with the new NAR rules. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. So always here to help. Use the Zoom link, Calendly link, whatever, and hit me up. Again, check out the website, tradingagent.com. Recommended reading. And also follow, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You'll get notifications when these videos come out. So let's go into it. We go next week. No, not next week. Sorry, next meeting. Fed rate cut is 1. We've warned you again, when they start deciding, when the market starts pricing in rate cuts, which they are, that's why we think the TLT is the safest trade, things aren't good. They're not slowing the pace of rate hikes and going pause. No, they're going full. If you go look at the Fed fund futures, there's a ton of cuts being priced in, right? Here you go. Next meeting. Every meeting coming up, the potentiality of cuts just grows and grows and it's silly. That's what I was saying. It's no doubt in my mind, interest rates are coming down. Again, they're anticipating at some point. Look at this. Keep going. 3.75, maybe 3.5, right? Even into next year. Look at this, 3%. I mean, that is, I'm telling you guys, gals and guys, be careful out there. Just wanted to go through that because a lot of people are like, oh, is it just going to be what? No, they're expecting slowness. Bitcoin, as we talked about, chopping around. Again, I like commodities long term. It's just I don't trust them if there's a sell off. You saw what happened with Japan. That's the thing. Liquidation breaks, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Natural gas is, again, we love natural gas long term. Hit our little trend line here. I mean, again, I wouldn't say it's a perfect trend line, but this is the thing we've talked about. I like it when everyone gives up. First bottom, Next bottom, probably when everyone pukes. And then you got your action. Dollar, wide and loose. I mean, I've been watching all week. Like, what the fudge is going on? Up, down, up, down, up, down. TLT, we talked about, nice pullback to support. Here you go. Buy the dip yesterday. I said it was probably a good opportunity. Yeah, I think we will be going higher. TLT. I mean, the economy's slowing. I mean, be careful. Be careful. Again, no trade is certain. The VIX, I mean, the biggest down move cumulatively over 8-9 days in history. That is wild. I mean, I've never seen that in my life. This is a one-time event. I mean, usually don't see that. When the VIX spikes, it usually holds up. VIX holding. We talked about that usually bottoms first. Keep an eye on that. SPY was chopping around all day, got to 555, and we're into this zone. We'll see what happens next. I mean, the risk reward is now shorting, but the risk reward does not define whether you win or not. Your stops will, and if it works, it works. QQQ 50-day. Could we fill the gap? Right. IWM hits the 20-day. Right, curling down. Let's put out an alert on this. We'll see what happens. DIA been holding up. Right, chopping around. Okay, lower highs, higher lows. I don't know. Your guess is good as mine. I mean, there's a little trend line here. Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. Gold. I mean, what is going on a Friday with gold? Credit where credit's due. Again, I may have missed the boat on gold directly. Again, I mean, I think I've shown you guys on the monthly. I think there's a monster move coming. And I don't have to sit here and go, oh, all right, well, talked about the cup and handle. We'll see. I've been caught so many times trying to play the game with gold where I expect a pullback, and then that's when the liquidity comes in. That's when it's time to rock and roll on that. Silver was up, man, again, nicely today. Credit where credit's due. Miners, again, I think these shorts make sense, but here you go. This is where you have to stop out. I mean, if this is going to go higher, I mean, I've never seen the miners just go ripping before the Feds cut. And when the Feds cut, they're usually, again, market gets pulls back. Go look at typically what happens when there are rate cuts. Market doesn't go up, folks. Keep in mind in that. GDXJ, potentially head and shoulders top. We'll see. I don't know. AEM, making new highs. Again, we've identified this one as one of the stronger ones. Is that a gap and go or a novice gap? Your guess is as good as mine. AG, chopping around again. It should be much higher. I'm sorry. Don't know what to say. Newmont, we've talked about this one. We like this long-term. Big bottoming out process. Just keep an eye on it. Pass. This thing should be much higher too. Not really sure what to say. Be safe on these. Taiwan Semi, 175 pin action today. Couldn't really get over it. We'll see what happens here. Into this little gap. Keep an eye on it. Micron. Okay, we talked about the oversold conditions in all of these chip names, right? Like, not surprised. Keep it simple. AM Dizzle. AMD. All right. I'm just, again, I don't know what the next level, meaning 200-day, 50-day, just worth the watch. NVIDIA starting NVDA shorts in this level. They got earnings next week. For the love of God. Oh, hold on. Double checking. Is it the 28th, actually, I think. Let me double check that because I think that's worth double checking. Live and direct. I think it is the 28th. Right? Yeah, 28th. So it's not next week. Just making sure I'm not losing my cookies. Yeah, downtrend in this area. It makes sense. Again, but if do not hold through earnings without hedging. Just promise me. SMCI, 20-day. We talked about it bouncing. Again, I think ultimately the first bottom here, we'll see if you get another retest somewhere in this 400s or retest lows. Intellectual property, Intel, dead cat bounce after getting smoked. I mean, I hope it's just for bull's sake. It's not dead cat chop. SMH, sloppy, choppy today, 2-day range. Was watching it, didn't really go anywhere. Keep an eye on it. Adobe, been holding up pretty well over the 200-day, gapped over it, and watching for the 580s. That would be ideal, 570s. Apple starting to short back into this one. Again, this is hard. This is hard. I don't know. Again, define your risk. To me, when I see, 8 green day, 9 green, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Risk reward is, again, even if it's just for $1 or $2 down, a couple points down, fine. We'll see what happens. Amazon, this thing's been on fire, coming off the lows, right? Same kind of thing. This gap up, watching this area here. I mean, here, let me draw it out for you so it's a little more visual. I'd be watching this area, see what happens. Meta, we talked about like the top of the range testing. Looks like a head and shoulders top, right? Left shoulder, head, I don't know, right shoulder again if you got awkward shoulders. Not everyone has parallel shoulders, right? Keep an eye on it. 530, CRM, here we go, 100, 200 day. Keep an eye on it. Guggenheim, breakup value. Again, I think if they get broken up, it has more value, but chopping around. Mr. Softy, ice cream. Interesting. Coming into this area, back testing a lot of stuff here. You would think, again, it would be leading. NDAQ, man, this is nothing all day. Chopping around, doji back at the highs. It makes sense to short up here, in my opinion. Long dated, define your risk. MicroStrategy, going nowhere. Chopping around, Bitcoin chopping, so will MicroStrategy. Netflix and chill, Netflix and grill bears. You could potentially argue that we're setting up for a head and shoulders top. Again, I don't know who in their right mind would be buying this company, but again, a lower high, then a lower should follow if it's bearish. Roblox, we've talked about this, chopping in the 40s. Keep an eye on it. Pan W, it's like, chase it. When we like this name, talked about these zones. Ten cuidado, be safe, be careful. Right, there you go. Watch it, watch. Again, I like this name long term, but I just wanted to pull back. Again, will I get it? It's like gold. You might not get it. The Tesla, we said watch the trend line. Sorry, let me zoom out. Here you go. Nice work. Talked about it's like to me, it's a trading vehicle. It's just trade it. I don't know how else to say it other than that. Insight, we talked about this, holding the trend line. I'd like it lower. I'd like to see it blasted down with the market. Pfizer, watching this trend line. Some of the gents, did it break? Was this a trap? A Friday bear trap? Keep an eye on that one. Mickey D's holding these 270s. I mean, this short makes sense here, but Friday games. Again, this is why it's so hard sometimes. And this is the thing, everyone's looking for easy, and it's like, it's not always easy, y'all. DKNG, chopping around. We'll see what happens. Again, I personally think that some of these names have way better risk reward shorting. Some of these names have dead cat bounces like Airbnb, DraftKings. Leave them alone. I mean, again, if you're long and short, just let the bottoms break out. Posted this yesterday on Costco. I was like, is this a little novice gap? We'll see. Again, options expiration games. Starbucks, new CEO. Cool. I mean, I want on record. It's like, I think this thing's going to be stuck in a choppy range. I mean, I don't think he's worth the whatever market cap growth that they added because of him. Now, again, I'm not saying he will be successful or not. Like, I don't really care about that. I just think the price of the stock, people will be unloading, and then some people will be buying, and it'll just be in an equilibrium of called chop. FedEx, I mean, this is interesting, right? It gets up to the 20-day. Look at these dueling candles, long wicks. That is, see, like that's what I expect in OPEX. Like these long wicks, both sides, not green. And again, I apologize if you got burned by that. You played the probability. It's again, pocket aces can still lose. Caterpillar, 100-day worth a watch. Deere, we talked about this was a great trade to squeeze up post pre-earnings as well. Then it went. I mean, you're in a big channel. Why not play the range lows, right? New core steel. We like steel long term, but these stocks, these material stocks are challenging. X chopping around again. I think if Harris wins, they get bought out. VALE chopping around. Good guess. Arrow. We like Arrow. We like these names, these material names, but they're just big sloppy chop zones. CCJ. We talked about selling at the high. When Goldman upgrades the highs, you run. You just run. I'm sorry. CF. Same kind of thing, like chopping around, just some of these material names. Not much to say. NTR, same thing, right? Chop. Aaron. I mean, we talked about this being oversold. These things, again, just zoom out. Be careful. Please, for the love of God, be careful. XLF, son of a biscuit, Look at this action. Again, bulls, congrats. Y'all win. For now. We'll see what happens up here. Again, as I've gone on record, I mean, remember when there's geopolitical issues, when there's a lot of stuff going on, who has all of the biggest issues? It's not the issues, all the carries the biggest risk. In real estate, commercial real estate, anything. It's the banks. JP Morgan, but credit where credit's due. Again, it's holding up. JP Morgan, again, they're not even buying back their own stock. Why would you buy their stock? I don't know. Morgan Stanley, choppy. but bouncing back. Bank of America, we talked about this bouncing. If Buffett's selling, this is probably where he's going to start taking like again, if he wants to get out, this is where he'll get out. Goldman Sachs, interesting area, worth a watch. Carry, talked about this one just lagging constantly. All right, hits the 20-day, worth a watch. This is why you just watch. This is why you watch the videos. Leave a like, leave a comment, watch the levels. Are you always going to be right? No, but you just watch, and you got to. Again, this is what you learn: is that there's no certainty in trading, but you know the levels. XBI, again, Harris talking about a $25,000 credit for first-time homebuyers. What? 20-day. This is not the reaction you would expect. Just be careful. Solar, again, we talked about any bounces is short. Said this thing's a piece of crap, but it's just, I mean, it goes from 300 down to 22. Take your profits. We talked about ENPH hitting 119. Rejection, looking pretty good. First Solar, any pop of major to like this 230 area, 50-day would be a gift. HYG, look at this action. I mean, corporate debt breaking out on light volume. I don't trust that. I don't. It's like going to the strip club and, no, I'm not going to use those analogies. This is a friendly PG channel. USO, chopped around. UNG, I hate the UNG. We've talked about this. KOLD is a gift if it gets up into 80s. That's what you're looking for. XOP, ugh, 10 cuidado. Again, we're into the 20-day. We talked about it holding the levels. Congrats if you took it. That's all you really can do. CDE, again, gets up in this 20 area. We like these names long-term. Big choppy slop zones. Sloppy chop zones. This is worth a watch. ExxonMobil, big sloppy chop zone. See this? I mean, Occidental, same thing, right? All these oil and gas names. All big choppy slop zones. Sloppy Jones. What sloppy zones, right? Good. So, but then you go look at, the gasoline names. This is the hardest part. The gasoline typically leads up and down. I mean, they look like they've peaked. 100-day MPC, worth a watch. Valero, 150, tied for OPEX, chopping around, got nothing. Last but not least, Flex LNG. Again, I think will be natural gas exporters. Just chopping around, right? So we know going into next week, there's not much data. Earnings is basically over. End of the month coming the following week. NVIDIA earnings on the 28th. I mean, it's going to be quiet, and it's going to be rumor-based, and it's going to be potentially one of those games where, again, thank you for guys for posting this, talking about the put-call ratio. I mean, at some point, the market makers are going to absorb all these puts that retail bought over the last couple of weeks. And when they do, they're going to pull the rug on the market. But when? That's the hardest part. You don't know. Is it going to be overnight? Is it going to be on some news? I mean, it's almost like, again, as we talked about, if you don't believe this or know this, the market is rigged to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. And so the goal is to try to do what the market's doing, but it's not always going to be so obvious. There's always these misdirections. There's always these things that people get stuck trying to do. And when they're wrong, they just stick to it. And that's when the market makers are like, yes, take it. And we're going to take your money. So just remember that. Keep that in mind. Let me know how I can help. I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. You guys are amazing. Hopefully all is well. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. I'm telling you, do not. Worst case scenario is what? I don't answer right away. Maybe I'm a little busy. That's life. But I'd love to reach out, connect. Again, I love the people who reach out and are in. It's a family. This is a family channel, family business, family game. So let me know how I can help. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.